Hello. Right, it's not often I do this, but I'm going to have to point this out because it's a design feature, right, that I'm not happy about. It's happened on a few panels in the past. I have pointed things out, but not to this extent. This is poorly designed, and the thing is, it costs tens, if not hundreds of thousands of pounds to buy these things, and you want value for money, don't you? And you want it to be workable. This isn't. I'll show you the first thing. Number one. Now then, the mains incomer is four core 185s, right? As you can see, I did them last week. Now, had it not been for the lads on site putting a spreader box on top, I would never, ever, ever have got four core 185s in that gap, right? They know how big it is because they've put 1,000 amp mains incomer. So it's not going to be a 4 core 70mm, is it? Feeding this. So first and foremost, give the man who's working on it enough room. So there, look, empty and empty. Could have had another, what's that, 400mm? That's 300mm trunking, so that would have been sufficient. Now, we move on to this. This is the next bit. Right, cableway. So all your cables are coming in there. Look how the isolator doors open. They open into the cableway. So where do I want to be? I want to be working here, but I need to bring the cables in here. What's in my way? This. Obstruction, straight away, on every one. Every one of them. They all open towards the cableway. Now, they're fundamentals for me. That is just basic stuff. Right, let's go and have a look inside one of the panels. So let's light it up. Now what we've got, for some reason, we've got wiring from the fuse carrier through this piece of finger trunking, out of the end, up and onto my side, the supply side, the load side, sorry, of the switch. Now, if you're going to do that, put them there. It doesn't make any difference, they're fused. So it doesn't make any difference if that's turned on or off. Right? Secondly, right, that is mounted there. How am I supposed to be able to work in that gap? That's less than, well, it's a finger's width. It's less than 20mm. So I've had to undo that, slide them across. Now then, every time I put a cable in, put a core in, sorry, I've got to undo the screw. I've got to take their cable off, and then I've got to get two cables back on to a 6mm bolt. I don't think that's right. And this is, here we go, look, right? Look at the neutral. Well, I'll go over the top so you can see it. Right, there, look, there's your neutral at the back. Now we'll come to eye level. I've got to bend those cables down. I've got this in the way. I can't get anything underneath there to hold the thing. I don't know whether you know this, but cable jointers tend not to be 6-year-old girls, and they can't, you know, they've got pretty big hands. They need what's called room. If you're going to mount this, right, don't mount it directly in front of, put it here, right, out of the way. It doesn't make any difference. Put it here, over this side. Don't put it right in front of all the connections. Don't wire to the other side of the switch where I've got to then fanny on with all of this. This is very, very poorly designed. And now I've got every one, I've got to take this off, and look at the length of the bolts. Look at them. It takes about a week for them to come out. Like I said, if you're spending tens or hundreds of thousands of pounds on your equipment, you want it to be workable. I mean, even the cableway, and I understand you've got sort of the measurements and the parameters of the room that it's going in, but let's have a look in the cableway. We've got the switches opposite each other, right? So the cables don't turn there, do they? They've got to sweep across. Look at the state, it's a good job. Well, I mean, this one at the bottom here is a 4-core 95. Sorry, this one at the bottom's a 4-core 95. I don't know what these are going to be, but that one's a 250 amp switch at the bottom. I can't see from my arm. And then over this side, you've got the same stuff, exactly the same thing. I have mentioned, I mean, I don't usually do this, but I have mentioned it to the client. I wouldn't be using them again. I'm not going to name them. I'm not going to name the company because that's, well, I'm saying it's unfair. It isn't unfair because it might give them the kick up the arse they need. But I've recommended to the client who I'm working for, don't use them again because, well, for me, they're not fit for purpose. It's the design stage and the manufacturing stage is, nah, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. And this is the problem, a bugbear that we've got, not just in my trade, but in every trade, design. It arrives on site with the old adage, the lads on site will sort it out. No, you sort it out, because we're relying on you to provide us with a good product. So yeah, get your finger out, people, and I don't know, make a job worthy of posting on Instagram. So thousands of people won't laugh at you, thousands of people will go, that's pretty good that, mate. Anyway, rant over, I'm very sorry. Little thumbs up, see you in a bit. One last thing. There we go, they've put 8mm ring crimps, 8mm hole ring crimps with a 6mm bolt. So, if you look, anyway, I just thought I'd show you that as one more thing I've just found out. Just another quick thing to add on to the panel video. This is what I've had to do. This is how badly designed it is. This is what I've had to do to get where I need to get. Firstly, I've had to take the door off because, as we said, the doors open out and that provides an obstacle. So it's had to come off its hinges. And then I can only get one bolt back in to the CT because the CT isn't big enough to go over the lugs. I had to take the CT off, slide it back, lug the cables up and then put them all back together because the lugs don't fit through the CT. Lastly, we've got an unlocked cableway, live electrical connections, and obviously I've just pulled that cable out and absolutely knacked this fuse carrier thing and whatever that is, but that's live. It's 240 volts and all you need to do is take some bolts out and you've got, you know, accessible connections. Now look, that's metal in the bottom of that. So yeah, you're not very good, I'm afraid. The thing is with that, the reason I'm angry about it is because it makes my life a lot harder, a hell of a lot harder. And I'm still supposed to be able to produce a really good standard of my work. But if the design of the panel and the things that I'm working with are substandard, how am I supposed to be able to do that? So it makes me look bad. It makes the people who've built the panel, well, let's face it, they are bad. So yeah, I have, like I said, and like I said previously, I have recommended to the client not to use this company again. And yeah, hopefully, if they see this video and recognise their own work, they might start improving it because, well, there's only one way to go and that's up, because this is the bottom. This is the bottom of the barrel. See you in a bit. Thanks very much for watching. Ta-da.